Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're going to look at Chipotle, IBB, and the GLD Gold. So let's get right into the charts. We look at the daily, weekly, monthly time frames, and we use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. So CMG on the daily chart, we talked about the retrace, nice 6 days up into the 618. We had a nice reversal day today. Let's see if we get some continuations back down to the 618 and the two moving averages. Ultimately, if you're bearish, you're looking at getting underneath these two moving averages and then continuation into double bottom and then possibly lower. Overall, you do have a downward pattern, bearish, little bit of an inside bar coming down, broke it, went around, chopped around, did it on some hype, but someone needed higher prices. And even with this downsloping trend line, you have the 750, the 618 downsloping trend line, the 425 quarter number, big areas for this thing to move up 6 days without a pullback and then possibly some more upside. But today's little $7.87 down, they got enough people in. Nice outside bar. They closed it below this area, well below it, and almost wiped out 2 days of gains. I'm looking for follow through into the moving averages. And then ultimately, the SPY, the IWM, the Qs will determine where these things are going. Because in a light volume market, they could do stuff like this. If everything was dumping, there's no way for 6 days this thing's going up. So anyways, if you're short this one, great. If it continues up a little bit higher into this area, you got to add shorts. And then possibly use this 200 moving average as a confirmation, as a stop out. If you want to do maybe a third position, play it like that. Or you can do quarter, or do a half, and then anywhere up in this area, add the other half, and then go from there. Weekly again, we tried recapturing the 20 MA. We are below it now. We still have 3 days on the weekly chart to close. Let's see where we're at. So right now we're below it, but doesn't mean it's not going to pop up and then continue rolling upward. If it stays below it, I'm looking for a little more of a reversal candle. Hopefully we can close down in this area around the 393, 394. That will tell me that we're going to get lower prices in the future. Let's see if we can see anything on here too. And again, downward, bearish, downward, kind of choppy, but this is ultimately a bearish pattern. Monthly, same thing with this. I mean, down, sloppy, down. This one's a little bit sloppy. I mean, it's trying to find the bottom here. But now at weak stance, below the MAs. We had a nice little tail here yesterday. We'll see, we got to wait until Friday. So if this closes anywhere down in the lows, which is right around 387 or so, we're looking for a close below that. And then I think we're on to the 364 area. And then possibly, I don't know, somewhere in here, I'd have to stick a bigger fib. Yeah, it's at the 364 area. Then you're going to have some, let's see, going to have some trouble getting through in this, and ultimately, I'm going to say probably 300. That's probably the next big area. Especially if this consolidates for another week or so, we're going to go boom, we're straight down. But that's Chipotle, bearish setup till the 50 MA gets recaptured on the weekly. Still a little bit bearish on this equity. Let's look at the IBB. This was some fun. We had some fun last week in this one. It was only down 58 cents today, but let's get right into the daily. We talked about support here at the 200, and now we're consolidating in a bearish manner. We did close below this low inside bar pattern. Now we're setting up sideways to possibly build some steam to move lower. If this builds steam for the next 6 or 7 days or so, we are definitely going lower. 276 are definitely in the cards. That's gap fill. But ultimately, I'm thinking 262, then the 255, and then ultimately the 250 area down in here. This is nice so far. If they pop it up, though, on a retrace, if you're not short, if it comes up into here, 290, actually about 292, 293, 294, boom, you got to short it. Just use the highs as a stop out with confirmation. Very, very simple. But right now, this is setting up to go lower. This is holding on for dear life, the 200 moving average. Now on the weekly, even worse. Again, got above the 50 MA, nice reversals, closed on top, closed below. Now we're below again. So at the end of the week, we're looking, if you're bearish, you're looking for a close below the 278.81. Anywhere in this area that's bearish, 274, to like 278.50 or so. About say 279, whatever the low on that candle is. If you're bullish, you want to recapture the 50 MA. You got to get above these high pivots in the 618. Then ultimately you could go to 331.87 and then fill the gap. But let me tell you, on no volume, it's going to be hard to push this thing up. You know, it will slowly float. Maybe someone will come out and upgrade it, or well, actually you can't upgrade the IPP. You know what? Someone probably will. That's how stupid these markets are right now. But yeah, so technically it's weak. You know, if this thing starts breaking down 275, and ultimately I think back to double bottom, and if that cracks, it's lights out. Monthly is just epic. Look at this one. Bearish inside bar plays out. And that was only 1, 2, 3, 4 months of consolidation. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, and even nicer pattern than that. Oh man, it tells me at least 207 right in this pivot. I mean, we'll see how it reacts at double bottom and this stuff, but if this thing just starts coming in, it's 207.05, period. I don't know if I'll be a buyer there. I'll have to wait and see what happens, but that is a big area, as well as double bottom down in here too, which is around 240 or so. So that is the monthly chart. Weekly we looked at, I believe. Yeah, weekly we talked about the 50 MA, closing below, closing above, all that good stuff. All right, let's get right into the gold. We talked about this one yesterday, the other day, pulling back a little bit more. Oh man, you know, I'm a little bit torn with this one. Let me see. You know, because on the daily it's weak. It's starting to break down. We're into these. Let's see, where are we at? Did we catch the lower pivots? Yeah, we're right at the lower pivots. I mean, we're off by a penny or two. We'll see how this thing reacts tomorrow. If it continues down, I think we'll definitely fill this gap right here, but then there's ultimately a gap down in here too around 120. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly, we have some more support right at the 124 or so. That's why I don't mind this 120 area. Let me put a fib in this one. All right, we got the low pivot here to the high pivot here. So we're right into the 382 retrace into this lower pivot around 125. So yeah, I mean, this thing could hold, but if this starts to break, we're going to 221. Then ultimately this 50 MA, but we'll see. We'll see as it's going. Maybe we'll pick up a little bit down, you know, down around 120, and then if it really starts to go to the 115 or so, we'll have to pick up a little more. But then you have a big gap right here around 112.39. So you got to be careful with gold. There's not a lot. I mean, we closed right on top of this inside bar. You'd expect a little bit of a bounce, but if this comes in and closes below that, gold's weak. And then this one here this is the daily, came right to the 618, rejected it. Now we're below the 50 MA and looking like it's possibly coming in. I mean, look at this, down, sideways. Oh, that's horrendous. So anyways, you got to keep an eye on this. Gold kind of going up and down with the markets. It's been a little crazy. The Federal Reserve's a little out of control. So this one's making irrational moves. I mean, overall, had a hell of a run. Sideways, up, kind of chopping around. Now it's slowly coming back in. So we'll keep an eye on that one. The weekly, same thing. We have some support. The 618's around 121. So anywhere, I think, I mean, if this thing can get back into the 215 or the 115 area, I think that's not a bad area to try to start buying in. But then ultimately, you're going to double bottom, or not double bottom, gap fill right here, right around 112.27. All right, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for watching my videos. Hopefully I helped some of you guys out there. Thanks again. God bless. See you on the charts.